Chapter 47. Daddy invited Kevin to go hunting with him and Bob since he had never been hunting before. We had only gone hunting with Bob a handful of times. Bob liked me there to lead him to the deer, otherwise I hadn't shot or killed anything any of the times we'd gone hunting. So on a crisp, cool morning, I ended up going with them. As Kevin and I trudged ahead of them, we were talking. We were nowhere near where the deer were hanging out, but Bob told us to shut up. I shrugged at Kevin and we continued walking. I pointed out deer tracks as we came upon them. We saw a lot of quail, and Bob was wishing he brought that type of gun he needed to shoot them. I rolled my eyes at Kevin. Bob just wanted to shoot something. I led them to a clearing and we waited. We saw the deer come to the edge of the clearing, but they were too far away to shoot. We waited some more. Then one lone doe ran right past us. We could only shoot bucks, so no one took a shot. I left Kevin with Bob and Daddy while I wandered off. All the waiting sometimes weighed on my nerves. And I was further in the woods. I came across a teenage girl sitting on a log. She was wearing a white nightgown in the 40-degree weather. "Are you lost?" I asked her. She gazed up at me. "No, I live in that house there," she said as she looked to the right. I knew there were no homes within miles of where I was standing, but I looked anyways. "It's cold out here. Where's your coat?" I asked, trying to trip her up. "There was a virus and my family died," she told me. "Did you die too?" I asked her. "No," she replied. "My dog's name is Cheyenne." Even if she wasn't aware that she died, I knew she had. I liked to question spirits to see what they'd say. Sometimes the conversations were wild. I looked down and she was petting a small dog that hadn't been there a moment ago. "You need to go to the light," I told her. "I can't. I'm waiting for my family." "They're already in the light," I replied as I squatted down and the dog came over to me. I petted him and he was as solid as I was. We talked a bit more. I was in the middle of asking her what her name was when Kevin's voice startled me from behind. "Your dad asked me to go find you," he said as he looked around to see what I was looking at. "Who were you talking to?" I glanced at him, then back at the girl and the dog, but they were gone. I sensed that he could handle the truth. "Don't freak out, but I can see ghosts sometimes," I told him. I had never told anyone that before. I'd known the girl was a ghost from the first instant I'd seen her. "Does your dad know?" "No. I don't think he'd deal well with it. Are you okay with it?" Kevin looked around again. "I guess, as long as I don't have to see them." "They're gone now," I told him. Then I explained about the girl and what she told me. I knew he'd have 100 questions, but I'd have to answer them later, if I answered them at all. We walked back to where Daddy and Bob were at. I led them a little further in the woods and we once again looked for deer. I poked Kevin and pointed straight ahead. I flipped the safety off his gun. Bob had given me a .22 rifle and Kevin a .30-06. No sooner than Kevin put the gun on his shoulder, a 6-point buck appeared. "Shoot," I told him in a low voice. He took the shot. I knew the gunfire would be loud, but oh my God. The gun kicked and still surprised Kevin even though he'd practiced shooting it before we set out to hunt. We both saw the buck drop. Before we could react, more gunfire rang out and several other deer ran into the open. Another one dropped. Bob slapped Kevin on the back, congratulating him on his first kill. I hadn't taken a shot the entire time we'd been hunting. Daddy was kidding him that he had to drink the blood, which is really what some of the hunters did. We weren't going to push him to do that. Kevin and I lagged behind as we walked to the truck. "Is that why you didn't shoot anything?" he asked me. "No, although I certainly wouldn't have drunk the blood either," I replied. "I just don't get into killing wild animals. Bob just takes me along to lead him to the deer." "How do you do that?" he asked. I thought about it for a moment. I just feel for their energy. It's hard to explain. I can feel the energy of most everything. "Can you feel my energy?" he asked seriously. "Could you find me if I were lost?" I nodded to him. "Yeah, I think I could, but only because I know you. If you were a stranger, I don't think I could. The voice in my head said I could, but hey, what did it know anyway? We'll have to try that sometime, he smiled. He thought it was cool that I could do that. I was really feeling this friendship thing with him a lot stronger now. It was amazing to me since I'd never had that before. I had a taste of weird friendship with Brad, but nothing real like this. It was totally amazing to me. Just don't tell anybody about my talents, okay? I replied very seriously. It had been bad enough that everyone hated me now, let alone giving them something else to hate me for.